And I think who you watch a movie to in a theater with plays a big role, because I remember we watched a film and the only other person in the theater, and it was at night, was a celebrity. And I won't say who it was, but they were there to support the filmmaker. And that person was laughing.
Right.
And I found myself laughing. And then I'm like, wait a minute, am I just trying to like join in with this person?
Right.
Is that the reason I'm laughing? But it was a great experience. And it was surreal being in this huge theater with the one famous person watching this film.
Was it Quentin Tarantino?
It was not. I can say that.
Because I have seen him laugh through a movie of mine, actually.
Oh, really?
That wasn't supposed to be funny.
Oh no!
But he had such a good time. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he was laughing from the first to the last minute. And I was like, what does that mean? And you could tell that the rest of the audience was confused, because he has a very succinct laugh. You can tell it's Tarantino,
Right.
you know. So if he thinks it's funny, then they probably were wondering, should I think it's funny? And there was kind of this weird energy throughout the movie. It was really interesting how that probably has to do with that hype dynamic again, with the group dynamic, that everyone, there is the desire to be on the same page with your fellow human beings, kind of a thing. And I think that's why an audience, everyone in an audience is kind of trying to have the same experience and not be too far off from the tribe, kind of a thing. And that's maybe why comedies work so much better with a big audience rather than with a small audience, because there's less confusion. It's like, oh, everyone else is having fun, so I should have fun too. And then there's a subconscious kind of tendency towards that.
And you never got an answer as to why certain parts were funny?
To the Tarantino thing?
Right. Interesting.
I talked to him afterwards, and you know how he talks,
Yeah.
not all this stuff. But I don't think I got a word in to ask what he thought was funny. No.
I know sometimes if we go to a theater to watch a movie, and it's usually a mainstream film that's more, again, sort of a bedroom community, and these aren't people in the industry, and what I'll do is I'll clap at the end to see how many people clap, because usually when you go to a Hollywood film,
Sure.
or something around this area, people are all in the industry or they know someone and they realize the hard work that the people behind the scenes put in. They'll clap. And I'm surprised, and sometimes David teases me, how many people don't clap.
Right.
And they just get out of their chairs grown and they were like, okay, where do we go get cake and coffee after this?
Right.
And I just find that interesting, because it's so dependent on the area.
I have that with flights. You know how sometimes people clap after a plane lands?
We made it.
We made it. And when I first heard that, maybe that's an American thing, because I think I was 35 years old when I first sat on a plane where people were clapping. And I was like, what did people expect? Are we celebrating this outcome? You know? And it's kind of the same with, I think, with a movie, that you expect the filmmakers that have had a budget of millions of dollars, and the audience has just each paid their good money to see that story, that they take it as a given that they are being delivered a good time over those 2 hours, and that they feel like they shouldn't have to celebrate that they weren't screwed over and robbed of their money. You know? So I can understand the mindset of not clapping after a movie. And I actually have that when the movie was really good, I can't clap, or worse, even talk to people afterwards. Like if you're really affected by something, it goes so far, you're in a different place, you're not clapping. Like if you're clapping, the movie hasn't 100% gotten you. Maybe if it's a comedy, that's a different thing. But if it's a Lars von Trier, Breaking the Waves afterwards, if that got you, you would not clap, you know, because clapping means you are aware, exactly what you were saying, aware of the work that has been done, right? But if the work has been done brilliantly, you're not even aware of the work that has been done, you are just flattened by the story and by the characters that you just experienced. You don't think about directors, writers, cinematographers, stuntmen, all the stuff behind the scenes, because you're so impressed by the narrative that you just experienced. I didn't know I felt that way about clapping until we just talked about it. But that's maybe why I can understand that people don't clap. I don't know if for one of my own movies I would rather have people clap or not clap. I know that my first movie was this fake documentary about suicide. No one ever clapped after that movie, and I would have known that I had failed if they had clapped after that movie, you know? Whereas with the other movies, where it was more of an upbeat ending, or at least not that dark, it probably would have been okay for people to clap. which they didn't there either. Maybe I'm just making bad movies. I don't know what it is. I don't experience the clap outside of festival audiences. You know, I think at festivals, because people assume that some of the filmmakers are there, there's the polite kind of clap. But I don't think I've ever experienced it, that an audience was clapping after one of my movies.
That'd be an interesting sort of survey for artists that make films. Would you be offended if someone clapped after your movie, or would you take it as a compliment?
Depends on the movie. Right? It depends on the state you want to put people into. Going back to Fincher, at the end of Seven, whether people are clapping or not clapping, and whether you want that or not, probably depends on the story that you were just telling and the emotion that you were hoping to put the audience into. Like Fincher, could be just because we had that example earlier, for Seven, you know, you want the audience to be so distressed and destroyed that he probably wouldn't want anyone clapping at the end of the movie. I think he would have known in a test screening that something is wrong with his movie, whereas there are probably other movies, you know, that are more upbeat and have a different energy.
True, and I am thinking back to the ones that I have clapped at recently, and they were not sort of these melancholy endings.
Right.
So yeah, that does make sense.